I have prepared a 10-minute video for you about the fears that you may see as a major obstacle in your life. Your fears will no longer be a weakness, but a power that you can control. Just sit back and give me your full attention for 10 minutes. I know that somewhere inside you, there are fears that you are not always aware of, but that never leave you. Have you ever thought about how the power of psychology can come into play here? How it can upset the balance? And how you can manage it? Life is often full of invisible limitations. Your mind creates these limitations without you even realizing it. There have been times when you've thought you've missed out on the biggest opportunities in your life because of your fears. This is exactly where psychology comes into play. What would change if you could manage it? Fears are a kind of alarm system for the brain. An alarm that keeps you alert to life at all times. For example, the concept of, "what if I can't do it?" is always at the back of your mind. This makes you ready for all concrete or abstract events. Uncertainty, not knowing what will happen in the future, inevitably causes you stress. Even in your greatest moments of happiness, I'm sure the thought, "how happy should I be?" has crossed your mind. The question, "what if this joy is short-lived?" has formed in your mind. It is at this point that the fear in your brain kicks in. A new phase, a new unknown. The area of the brain called the amygdala is the main center of fear. This small shell kicks in as soon as it receives a danger signal and prepares our body for fight or flight mode. However, in modern life, there is often no real danger. The amygdala still sounds the alarm, causing heart palpitations, sweating, and racing thoughts. Breaking this cycle is the first step you can take for yourself, psychologically. Now, for those who say, "I can't cope with my fears," the real issue is not to remain motionless when the amygdala is activated. It is to take action. Before doing so, let me share a memory with you. It was about 5 years ago, and I had to give a speech in front of a crowd. I had to present my thesis, which I had written to graduate from university, in front of my professors and friends in a large auditorium. There were about 500 people there. My heart was literally pounding out of my chest. The more I thought, "what if something goes wrong?" the more anxious I became. Then I calmed my amygdala a bit by talking myself through it. I stumbled slightly with my first words, but then I let myself go, felt the audience's reactions, and realized that fear was just an illusion. In fact, I could take control by directing myself. If you can take control at this point, you can turn everything to your advantage in that moment. The names you give your fears in life are actually your first line of defense against fear. For example, fear of heights, fear of doctors, etc. Every emotion that has a name becomes something that can be tested and overcome in some way, because you are the one who makes it special. Now I ask you, what is your most prominent fear? Write it in the comments, then come back and let's talk about it together. Don't worry about it being interesting or funny. Here, we're looking for solutions to help you change things. Another important point is that we internalize fear by turning it into a story. When your friends excluded you as a child, your mind created the code, "I am not loved." This code takes on different masks as you grow up. Being rejected in job interviews, being abandoned in relationships, or even being ignored in conversations with friends. In psychology, we call this triggering childhood experiences. As the amygdala detects these triggers, the small wounds you experienced in the past are renewed. However, the good news is that while we cannot change the past, we can transform the meaning we assign to it. Perhaps the most effective way to achieve this transformation is through the technique of behavioral exposure. Simply put, it involves experiencing the thing you fear in a controlled and gradual manner, sending your brain the signal that it's not really that scary. For example, let's say you have a fear of public speaking. First, practice in front of a mirror. In the next stage, address a small group of 3 people. Over time, the amygdala will receive the message that it's not something to be so afraid of, and will tone down the alarm. Empathy also plays a key role in this process. While watching the video, there will be many moments or events where you think to yourself, yes, I've been through the same thing. Perhaps it has already happened. At that moment, you will also feel how you should manage this entire process. Empathy builds a bridge from heart to heart, and this bridge nourishes your courage. Before putting into practice every step you learn today, ask yourself this question: what is this fear teaching me? Fear is a guide that shows you how much you value something. If you have a fear of being loved in relationships, you may actually be saying, I'm not afraid of my lessons. If I ran away, I realized the power of love. These deep interpretations reveal what is behind the curtain of your mind. Remember, the mind that once struggled with the question, am I good enough, is now asking, what is this fear teaching me? Now, by combining these two questions, we will see the true purpose behind the fear. Listen to the message fear is whispering to you. You think you're inadequate, but the door to growth is right there. At this point, your mind splits into two paths. On one side, that familiar feeling, what if I fail again? And on the other, a glimmer of opportunity. Maybe this time I'll get a different result. This is precisely where the peak moment occurs. That sudden awareness transcends logical concepts and envelopes your entire body, placing the message, I can overcome this fear, on your shoulders. At that moment, the amygdala may still be sounding the alarm, but your prefrontal cortex, the conscious mind, approaches it with a soothing compassion. Take a moment to listen to that compassion. Feel the weight of the moment, the beat of your heart, and the warmth in your hands. Watch the flow of 1,000 thoughts passing through your mind. You will hear every cell in your body saying, yes, we're ready. At the point where your fears envelop your body, turn to yourself with courage. Repeat to yourself, I am not insignificant. I am here to be tested. These are the anxieties you leave behind. What will happen? What remains is a lightened, what can I do mindset. Yes, this is the moment we experience at the peak. While a song from the album of fear is playing, you realize you've moved on to a new melody. And this is not a metaphor, it's a neurological reality. The mind finds it difficult to believe in change without experiencing it concretely. However, this visualization bridges the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, and the moment you first challenge fear in life becomes real. When you apply these techniques, the neurons in your brain update their memory files. The height equals danger record transforms into height equals exploration. This transformation can happen so quickly that you take a step forward without even realizing it. This is the real victory, the sharp threshold where fear turns into courage. I can guess you're thinking, does it really work? You're right. The mind always wants to test what it experiences. If I'm right, please write, you're right, in the comments for me. I can't wait to see that I've succeeded and made a difference. Remember, this peak is not an end. It's actually a new beginning for you. You've emerged from the pitch-black darkness of fear, and what truly matters now is how you integrate this experience into your life. Because psychology is not a one-time magic trick. It is an ongoing process. And in this process, you will discover your potential at the PsychoGrowth Workshop. This potential will create a new you. Because here, at the PsychoGrowth Workshop, every fear is a harbinger of victory.